It's June 7th, 2015, and we want to know, does Midnighter beat me to every punchline about his own online dating profile?
Are you ready for a Justice League comic that actually has the Justice League in it?
It's all coming up now in another episode of DCR.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the DCR podcast. I, of course, remain your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, fending off a little bit of a cold. Bad timing indeed, but I am joined by the paragon of health himself, the man that was just coughing up a storm right before we started, Mr. Brian Glein. Hello.
Hey there, Sean.
How are you today, other than dying of the flu?
I don't know. I don't feel bad. I just started randomly coughing for no good reason.
Man, whatever I have must be really contagious.
I know.
Because I've seen you for like 10 minutes. Woo! It's going to be a long show for you if that's the escalation rate of your sickness. Sorry.
My arm will be falling off by the break.
Probably. But what we do here, since this is going to be kind of a jump-on issue episode, whatever we want to call it, for folks that are coming back in after Convergence, we cover all of the titles that came out from DC Comics in their quote-unquote main line. That main line has become a little bit more fuzzy now with this new DCYou, Y-O-U as they're calling it, initiative.
Me?
No, DCYou as in everybody.
You.
DCEWE.
Me?
It's only for yous, the animals.
Them.
Them. Only them. Not you, but you use.
I don't know.
Correct.
Third base.
So we will be covering plot beats, storylines, character development, kind of giving you a shotgun spread of everything that happened in all the books so that by the end of the episode, you should have a decent idea of what's happening in the DC universe so that you could go out and pick up any one of these books and not feel like you're completely out of date and have no idea what's going on. Now, fair warning, two fair warnings to be fair. The first one, there are going to be spoilers. Because we do that, we're going to be spoiling the books as well, so if you have not read them or if you do not want them spoiled, do not listen ahead. Second warning, we do take a little bit of creative license in some of our recaps. We possibly add some things to the scene just for our own humor while we're discussing this back and forth. It's pretty easy to figure out, I would say. Brian, do you think it's
I would say, did we get a letter or something?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
This is just because it's a jumping on.
It is a jumping on point.
Okay.
If people are joining in, I don't want them to all of a sudden be like, why are there man-bats in every book that comes out?
Yeah.
They're not. Sometimes we just joke around. You can usually tell when we're laughing up a storm that we're creatively adding some stuff in for humor's sake. That being said, we would also usually have a third mic with us. Either Brian's lovely wife or my fiance, Beth or Kelly. And unfortunately, because I'm going to a convention this weekend, we're recording off schedule, so they will not be joining us this week. Hopefully next week. Hopefully. We'll see how that plays out. But, Brian.
Yes.
Are you ready for DCYou?
And I think I should be asking if you are ready.
I am ready.
Well then, let's go right ahead and you this. Let's you this thing.
All right, so we're just going to jump right into this week's books.
All right, I'm starting off with Justice League number 41.
Kind of a big start, too.
Big start, both literally and
figuratively?
Yes, literally and figuratively.
Man, this is going to be a long show from that blank stare you just gave me.
So, the Justice League. They're all the big, main, headlining superstars of the DC universe. And 5 years ago, the Justice League came together and made Earth the first planet to turn back the forces of Darkseid, and he's pissed.
Yeah, he's big stompy, and he is not used to being knocked away. Mm-hmm. Although he has been getting his eye poked out quite a lot recently.
He has.
So, I mean, maybe that was the first time that ever happened, and he wasn't used to it yet. Now it's just like a Tuesday thing. He just wakes up and he's like, my eye, poked it, rubbing it too hard.
Yep.
Damn these stony fingers.
Yes. So we enter on the apartment of Marina Black. And in one of the most horrifying aspects of the DC universe, anytime you come home, there might be a new god sitting in your favorite chair.
A friendly one? Is it I don't know, like an Ooga or something?
No. If only it was Yuga. No, in this case, it is Apocalyptian assassin Kanto, wearing a cool new helmet instead of the puffy Ren Fair hat he used to wear.
Well, that's a trade up,
Yeah.
I definitely would say.
Yes, he has a mother box dagger, and he kills Marina. He's working with Lashina, the female Fury, and they are just going around killing people named Marina Black.
Now, is it fair to say he killed it because the mother box knife just kind of flew around the room and was stabbing things and cutting cheese and doing things for him?
Yes.
So is it really just his mother box knife that's sentient?
I don't know,
and just
man.
like,
When'd you see that in a court of law?
yeah, it wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the knife. It's clearly sentient.
Yes.
You can't charge me.
Ping, ping, ping. Yep. So they are looking for a very specific Marina Black because apparently every 10th person in the DC universe is named Marina Black.
Man, must be an odd family get together.
I guess so. We then cut away to the origin of Mr. Miracle Scott-Free. He was the son of the head of New Genesis,
The
High Father.
Yeah, the counterpart to Darkseid and Apocalypse.
Yes. So one time to create peace between the two warring factions, they traded sons.
Okay.
Which is a thing that you did back in
Yeah.
the day, apparently.
I did that. My neighbors and I were arguing, so we just traded kids. And
Yeah.
apparently he doesn't have one. I'm still waiting for him to actually take mine, and
Okay.
it's not working out. Apparently doesn't want peace.
Yeah. So, and I love the way he put it. So Darkseid's son Orion, he went over and it's like, oh, my dad took him to the dinner table and taught him how to use silverware, and I got thrown into a slave pit.
With fire and torture
Yes.
incessantly.
And we get the cool story of how he figured out a way to escape, and he built his own mother box. That's like a key. At least his mother box right now seems to be a key. Everyone's got very specific.
Did you see who it was that trained him to do that?
Who was that?
It was the guy from, it was not Big Bear. Is it Big Bear?
Was it Big or Haimon?
Yeah, Haimon. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that I remember his name getting mentioned.
Yep.
So he is still looking for a way to stop his adoptive father Darkseid from doing whatever it is he's doing, and he's going to need the Justice League to help him. And Darkseid is onto him and nearly crushes him under his boot like a bug.
Man.
Big stompy. But he escapes at the last second because Mr. Miracle. His whole thing is that he's good at escaping stuff.
And lifting his arms over his head.
Yes.
As you have told me before with his action figure.
That's
and
his
that's
action
what he
figure.
could
He
do.
was so good at lifting his hands over his head. And he popped out of his little plastic handcuffs. If he lost his little plastic handcuffs, well, a little less impressive, but you know. We then cut over to the Justice League, who are working together as a team. Yay. To try to...
So who's in a coma?
No one.
Who's off doing their own thing?
No one's in a coma. It's not these same characters that you always see who have all of their own books. It's the entire Justice League working together as a team to solve the new god murder of Marina Black. And Steve Trevor's there, too, on top of it.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
How did we get so many people in one book?
I know. So it's the Justice League. So a cyborg, he can tell a new god was there because he has a mother box in his chest and can tell that a boom tube went off there. His whole origin is related to the original Darkseid invasion.
Correct.
He got caught in a boom tube?
No, it was, well, yeah, he got hit by the blowback of a boom tube.
Yeah,
and then his dad hooked him up to a bunch of apocalyptic technology they had lying around.
Vibe got stuck in a boom tube.
Everyone gets stuck in a boom tube.
Where you at, Vibe?
Those things are dangerous. There should be legislation against boom tubes.
There should be. He knows something went off in there. Batman and Flash are the detective and CSI team, which is just a great little thing. Mm-hmm. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and Power Ring, Jessica Cruz, are doing Magic Space Ring stuff because...
They're doing other stuff. They're doing, like, spectrum scans and stuff like that.
Yeah, good Space Cop, bad Space Cop. Off at LexCorp, Superman, Lex Luthor, and Captain Cold are trying to figure out what to do with Neutron, who is not burning doing the Neutron dance. He's dying of cancer.
Okay, well, these are differences.
Slight difference. So Lex is just all like, welp, he's gonna die. He's a bad person. And so Superman just goes, so if you're so smart, why don't you go ahead and cure cancer like you're always saying that you can? And Captain Cold's just standing behind him going like, oh!
Sinestro
Yeah,
pops out.
Sinestro style. It's like, oh, damn. And he's just been sitting there like stuffing his face with popcorn, just enjoying, just like loving everything that's going on in front of him.
I adored the fact that it was Lex like, but I pay all these other people to cure cancer.
Yeah.
Why aren't you guys curing cancer? I have a giant robot suit. Does anyone else have a giant robot suit? Cyborg's like, I'm half robot. Shut up, Cyborg.
Yeah.
Batman, I got a giant robot suit too. Shut up, Batman.
Yeah. And also, Captain Cold, in between eating popcorn and throwing down, like, burn bombs on these guys, he's also constantly asking Superman about Wonder Woman. Hey, are you talking to Wonder Woman right now? Tell her I said hi. Hey, what about her? Is she seeing anyone right now? Are you guys still a thing? I don't know. I know you got that book together, but just asking, you know.
I heard some rumors through the grapevine, you know.
Oh, Captain Cold, you magnificent bastard. Back at the crime scene, Cyborg he literally hacks the planet and finds 44 Marina Blacks in the United States alone. If anyone listening is named Myrina or knows anyone named Myrina, Myrina, let me know, because that seems a little high to me. Personally, I knew a Marina, Marina, never with the Y.
We can solve this.
Because the age of all these people that are named this had to have been born long before the change a letter to Y craze of the 90s. So, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying. I got at least 13 hits here on Facebook. So
really,
yeah.
Okay.
See, and that's just Facebook. So.
That is just Facebook. All right, man, that was fast. So as they're just going, it's like, oh yeah, this seems like an awful lot of people who all have the same name. And then Darkseid's daughter crawls out of the Flash's mouth.
Flash. Dental hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have a talk about brushing and flossing.
Yep.
Get those new god kids out of your teeth.
Yep. So, oh my gosh, who is this lady? It's Grail. She's here. She makes the Justice League look like chumps. What is she doing here? Shazam is just like, she's got gray skin. Maybe she just really likes Homestuck. I don't know. She shows down with Wonder Woman in that
I'm gonna pester some chums.
So she shows down with Wonder Woman and reveals that she's part Amazon, just like her. Ooh, intrigue.
Ooh. Well, we saw that backstory.
Oh, yes, well, we did, but they did not.
Okay, fair enough.
Although that would be pretty funny. So Lex tries to, so back at LexCorp, he tries to upgrade his armor to a kryptonite-powered model, and Superman is just giving him the hardest, coldest stare humanly possible. Like, you're not even trying. It's like, no, I mean, I would love to have this. Of course, we wouldn't have you in the city anymore if we gave this to the police, but...
Yeah, that would be a shame.
That'd be such a shame. I couldn't do that.
I was going to power all of Metropolis for free, but, you know, then we couldn't have Superman.
Yeah. When suddenly Lana Luthor shoots Lex through the arm and chest. She's working for Darkseid and has a mother box that teleports the Leaguers away. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you think that's a like a Granny Goodness brainwash thing or something like that?
Entirely possible.
Okay.
Although I did like how she's just like, don't look shocked, Superman. We all hate him too.
Yeah, nobody likes him.
No one likes Lex Luthor.
You just saw him haughtily explain why he couldn't cure cancer, even though we all know he can.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So all of a sudden, Mr. Miracle is fighting Kanto and Lashina. Grail steals Power Ring's Power Ring and unleashes its like weird shadow beasts that are inside of it. Ultraman and Superwoman start freaking out in their jail cells. Grail summons the Anti-Monitor
using Power Ring.
She
has the link. The Power Ring is the link back to Earth 3.
Mm-hmm. So you've served your purpose, Jessica Cruz. It's been nice knowing you.
Yoink, onto the pile.
Yep. Hang on, maybe you could get a job at Argus with Felicity.
Let me introduce you to Simon Baz. Enjoy.
Mr. Miracle steals Kanto's coordinates and boom tubes right in front of a giant griffin, which is the pet of Myrina Black, the important one. She's the mother of Grail, and she's going to murder Darkseid.
Yep, she is the Amazon that gave birth to Grail on the same night that Wonder Woman was born.
Yes.
That was that whole backstory that we got in one of the preludes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of the classic Jeff Johns, everything's going crazy all at once.
That was pretty
leading to the big finish.
There was one.
We saw him do that in Aquaman a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, but there was one page towards the beginning where they had the Wonder Woman was explaining who the Justice League was, and it was all of them when they were younger, all asking the same variation of the question of what's out there, with just like Superman, like, oh, is my planet still out there?
Yeah.
Or Hal Jordan looking up at the sky, like, oh, what's up there? Or yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was all like that.
And then ending with Batman with like, he's out there. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, dude.
Dude, that's dark.
But that was such a great page.
That was very well
as
done,
far as
yeah.
an introduction to these characters and their personality types, using one question phrased differently and in different settings. I was like, that's a nice little quick
Oh, yeah.
touchstone for who these characters are, and I thought they did a great job with that. I wanted to call it out.
Oh, yeah.
Fabok's doing the art for this, right?
Yes.
Really knocking it out of the park,
Yeah.
too. I know we
His redesign of Mr. Miracle is great.
Yeah.
And I guess Kanto, too, since Kanto was one of these silliest looking new gods.
no crazy hats.
No silly
crazy hats allowed. A lot of people were asking how exactly that works, though, since Mr. Miracle was over on Earth 2 for the longest time, and now he's over here on Prime Earth. And I have an easy question for you, courtesy of the DCYou. It doesn't matter.
No.
They can do whatever they want
Yep.
right now. If they're going to link it up at some point, they will. If they don't, they're not going to.
If someone really, I mean, the placement of this story happening doesn't really make a lot of sense with a lot of things that are happening in all the other books right now.
No, and it's it doesn't matter. Again, that's their big thing with this is there's going to be a loose continuity. It's not all tightly melded. And really that's going to, I think, pay off with this, because we're going to get basically an event book in an ongoing monthly title that you're not going to have to chase down, oh, I have to get this Superman tie-in over here. And
I will say that was one of my favorite parts of Morrison's JLA, was the fact that he was sort of forced to have to tie in everything with all the other books, because it couldn't be more important than the character's main books.
Gotcha.
So, like, you had him being forced to figure out how to make Electric Blue Superman cool, which he did. He was apparently the only one, but I like the challenge that it obviously was presented there.
Sure. But I also like
the
fact that if you're just getting a book, you're going to get the story, so to speak.
Yeah, Very true. Very true.
When we get to Action Comics, actually, here in a little bit, they're doing the same thing. It looks like they're doing a large story over the 3 Superman books, 3 or 4, but each one of them are telling a separate aspect of it, so that you can just read your one book and you don't have to chase down all the pieces. At least that's how it looks like they're doing it. We'll see if that's the case here in a little bit. But you ended with an Amazon that gave birth to the daughter of Darkseid. So I figured the next book we should do is Wonder Woman Annual #1, the prime Amazon, the most well-known at the very least. And everyone knows who this is. It's Wonder Woman. She's taken on a couple new roles, so to speak, roles, so to speak. And I don't know why I always stumble over that word. She's everything from Queen of the Amazons after her mom was turned to stone or clay or a statue or whatever you want to call it by Circe. She is the daughter of Hippolyta and Zeus, so she is also a demigod. Also, conveniently enough, the god of war after having to kill War to keep his power from going to someone else in an earlier battle. And last but not least, a member of the Justice League. And she's been trying to juggle all these hats on her head. Oh, they're all silly hats, but she's got to do it. Someone has to step up and do all this stuff. And we're kind of seeing that come to a close in this, where she's starting to get a grasp on these different roles, because as the Justice League member, they had found a group of underground insect people that she accidentally woke up when she cast down one of the firstborn son of Zeus during a big god war that happened, and she ended up casting him down into the center of the earth. And that woke up these alien bug people who started eating all of the other humans around.
Bug people.
Chick, all the time. Can never sleep. Always rubbing their legs together.
Yeah.
So annoying. Spitting tar all over the place. But in this case, the entire Justice League has come down there and go, what the hell, bug people? Why are you eating all the normal people? And they go, well, that's our food. That's what we eat.
You, maybe they're normal. To us, they're very abnormal.
I don't think me and my entire race are going to starve just because you don't want us to eat you. But we're going to continue doing that because we're stranded here. Our ship crashed. We can't leave. We'd love to, but we can't. And that's when they all go, well, what if we just fixed your ship? Would you leave? And they went, yeah, we'd totally do that. And they go, yay. And they start working on the ship to fix it. So, one problem's at least in resolution mode. They have a resolution to the problem. But as queen, she has bigger problems because, as part of that God War caused her to bring back the Manazons, as we've been calling them, the male sons of the Amazons that were cast off of the island to keep it pure and no males were allowed on it. Well, during that whole big God War that was happening, she needed reinforcements and ended up calling them back and allowing them to live back on the island. And not everyone has been a fan of that move. The chief among them is Darano, or as we've been calling her, Darano McPenis Hater, because she hates those penises. Hates them. Hates them. Ooh, she's an old crone lady and she just wants to, she will stop at nothing to get these dudes off of this island. Nothing she will not do, including actually kind of cloning the ultimate Amazon from Wonder Woman using magic and all these other foul sorceries, creating another Amazon that's supposed to be the ultimate Amazon by the name of Donna Troy. And she's kind of filled her head with her mission. You got to get these penises off this island, yo. That's what you got to do. And to do that, you're going to have to dethrone Wonder Woman because she doesn't seem to have a problem with these Manazons being around. So it's kind of led to this whole big argument. And as Wonder Woman returns this time, she finds that while she was gone, Donna Troy led a small group of other Amazons out to murder every man on the island. Oopsie. So needless to say, she's a little ticked off and kicks in the dodos and goes, hey, who killed all the penises? And of course, Donna Troy is like, yeah, that was me. That was all me. Me and a couple of my pals here. We said no more dudes on the island. It was kind of a rule, but, you didn't listen. So we had to take things into our own hands. So I guess we're going to have to fight now. And those two have this big epic brawl of the ages, just punching each other through the buildings and everything like that as they're fighting until finally Wonder Woman gets the upper hand and ties the lasso around her and goes, you realize there's like one word that would summate everything that we are about, and that's sister, and you're being a really bad sister right now. And Donna Troy feels kind of bad about it after she says that. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. So she gives up and relinquishes her claim to the throne. And Wonder Woman drags Donna Troy in front of everyone else and goes, hey, she was bad, spritz bottle. We don't kill dudes. If I say dudes are allowed on the island, we don't kill them. Is that clear with everyone? And while she's giving this little speech, crony McPenis Hater, Darano, comes up behind her with a dagger like, I'm going to get rid of everything. And as she's about to stab her, the other Amazon women toss a sword at her and kill her and say, you know what, Wonder Woman, I guess you're right. She was a little crazy. Sorry we followed her. Our bad indeed. And Wonder Woman is left to pine and wonder as she sits there looking off into nowhere going, but I guess we'll never know exactly what she hated and why it is
penises
that she would be filled with so much hate.
She really hated penises
and just wanted to slaughter every male on this island.
Just didn't like penises.
Just really didn't. Let's be frank. Really didn't. That is like a halfway point though in this book because there's a little backstory that's done as well that is the backstory as to why Crony McPenis Hater hates those penises.
Okay.
We get actual fulfillment of,
oh, really?
This is why she hates those penises, because back in the day when Wonder Woman's mom Hippolyta was even still a kid, when her grandmother was still the queen of the Amazons, Hippolyta and Darano used to run around and have fun, and Darano may have had a thing for Hippolyta, may have had a pretty big thing for Hippolyta and wanted to hook up with her, and pretty normal for the Amazons. I mean, it's when all you have are women on the island. Of course you're going to find companionship with other women. But what ends up happening is they invite the people from Sparta, the men from Sparta show up to have a conversation about a common enemy of theirs, and they come in, they're like, hooah, 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 and they're like, okay, we got it. Hey,
Yes,
we brought you
when you're children, you go into the forest and you do 300 crunches.
Yeah, yeah, okay, we got you. And they all sit down for dinner, and they're like, hooah, hooah, hooah. Okay, guys, we get the whole hooah thing. We got you. You brought
You're
some
moving
wine?
very slow for some reason.
Here's some wine. Cha, 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 cha. Now it's really fast forward. But they end up poisoning the wine and killing Wonder Woman's grandmother, Hippolyta's mother. And it turns out that the witch that Darano was even working with in the present day is the one that forced them to do it, because she just wanted to get rid of a common enemy of hers. And when they go attack Sparta to get revenge against them, an assassin tries to kill Hippolyta with a magic knife, and Darano ends up grabbing it, and it drains her life force, and that's what turns her into the old crone, because everyone's immortal. They don't age.
Yeah.
So she's been stuck even as an 18-year-old in this old crone body forever. And as soon as she was in the crone body, Hippolyta had no interest in her whatsoever, and actually went and hooked up with Zeus instead. And there's this sad panel of like Hippolyta and Zeus hooking up, which is Darano crying in the corner.
No.
It's just like,
the one single tear going wrong.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's okay, Crony McPenis hater. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's why she hates those penises.
And that is why she hates those penises. So I like that we got a little flashback in an annual to, pad it a little bit. It's not really padding. It
actually explains part of the story.
Yeah, and it that way they can tie up that whole thing without having to stretch it out, because honestly, I expected that storyline to go for a lot longer, and they wrapped it up pretty quickly. I would almost say too quickly, but I think it was okay. I've been enjoying this one since the Finches took over. I know a lot of people are kind of like, not quite sure where they want to go with it yet, or because they just came off of a monumental run with Azzarello and Chang. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to live up after that. And I think they've been doing a good job with it, personally. Okay. I really do. That's my opinion.
Have they figured out how water works?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
It's wet and it flows. Gravity has something to do with it, too.
They building aqueducts now and stuff?
No, but we haven't gotten to how gravity affects water. And I think that's the next level when they try to build that spaceship for the bug people.
Good to know.
So moving on.
Moving on to Action Comics number 41. So, some crap has happened to Superman. We don't quite know what yet. Everyone knows that Superman is Clark Kent. He is losing his superpowers. The Fortress of Solitude has stolen his super suit and his indestructible cape, and all he has left are these little tattered strips of it. And he has to walk home from the North Pole. Now, back in my day, I used to have to walk 40 miles uphill both ways through miles of snow
to the North Pole.
To school, but about the same.
Okay, no, not really. But
so Superman's being a bit of a whiner, but so he's walking all the way from the North Pole just across Canada, and after days of walking, he finally comes across a little city and buys some clothes, including an off-brand Superman shirt.
Yes, I did like that.
Yes.
But what did he end up settling for? Because he thought it was too on the nose.
Yeah, it was like
eat your greens shirt.
Yeah, it was like a
broccoli.
It was like a pro broccoli shirt. Yeah, he could have gotten multiple shirts. He knows he's gonna have to change. He's
that
walking
Alaskan
across.
Broccoli market is really high, so they like to push their exports.
Yeah. So he buys a used motorcycle off of a townie when someone notices that it's Superman. Because everyone knows a Clark Kent Superman. He sees the newspaper that says, "Hey, Clark Kent Superman."
Hey, this dude's Superman.
That dude looks like him. And so the townie goes to get more money from him and be the first guy to beat up that filthy alien Superman.
Oh.
So Superman, he's still Superman and kind of beats him up.
Well, he's not really like super strong, but he's still able to.
He's still stronger than that dude. Yeah. We also get Superman grounded in one beautiful page that just sees him trek across America with his motorcycle, and he notices like the anti-alien sentiment that's come back. He's experiencing caffeine for the first time and actually enjoying food because he actually gets hungry, including corn in Kansas because LOL Clark Kent. Until he finally gets back to Metropolis, where they're waiting for him. The cops are gonna get him, but their superior says, nope, just let him go. Let him do his thing. So Superman meets up with Jimmy Olsen in Kentville, in the Superman district.
What?
It's just past the Diamond District and the Hammock District. where you've got Hammocks R Us, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Marianne's Hammocks. The great thing about that place is that Marianne gets in the hammock with you. So anyway, a bunch of people from his old neighborhood just love him because he's been keeping them safe for the past 5 years. People are offering him to, go ahead, couch surf in my apartment. Or, ladies are flirting with him.
Yeah, looking good, Superman.
Yeah. Kids are using him as a jungle gym. He's a man of the people, John. So a local firefighter tries to keep his head on his shoulders by saying, hey, just as many people here are still hiding in their apartments. They're scared of you still, dude.
Because he's got alien flu.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get no alien flu. What if I already got alien flu from him?
Oh, no.
Curse you, Superman.
Yeah. But as she's doing that, there's a call for help on her walkie-talkie, and there's a problem, and the police aren't responding.
Wait, what's her name?
Who?
The young lady he's talking to.
Oh, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I did not write
it's
that.
It's an LL.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's another LL, which
I
means
see.
Love interest or arch enemy.
Oh, man.
One of the two. She has to fall into one of those two categories.
I guess so. But there's a problem. The police aren't responding, and Superman is too dumb and good to not try to help. He's still faster than most. He's still stronger than most. He can't fly, but he can leap tall buildings.
Yep, he just runs around going hup hup and leaping over things and
bumping,
jumping
and bumping his knee. Yeah, I was like, oh god. So he wraps up his hands in his cape scraps and starts punching a shadow monster in the face in the middle of a shipyard fire, and it's awesome.
He's super bro.
Yep,
that's what the internet's calling him. By the way,
well, they're wrong, but okay. So. The police that were going to blockade him before get the call to burn down Kentville and murder everyone that loves Superman.
Okay.
What?
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause, guys. This is where you question your orders and go, I'm sorry, did I hear you correct? Did you say murder everyone that loves Superman?
Murder innocent civilians? Okay.
I'm going to have to maybe run
They
this
were
up.
suspicious-looking looking cops.
Well,
They look like they should be hunting down those Duke boys.
I don't even know if they are cops, to be fair. They
Yeah.
could just be plants or something like that. Some shadowy organization, I'm sure, hates Superman.
Yeah, another shadowy acronym-based government organization.
Of course, you need that. So who knows exactly what's actually going on there, but it's an interesting thing. I really like the scene of him in Kentville, the little suburb of the city or the little subsection, the block that they had roped off to be pro-Superman, where everyone was just so happy to see him and asking him all these stupid questions all the time and stuff like, hey man, is it true you've been punching all the bad guys around here? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I did it all over the world. It wasn't just here, but I mean, it was cute. It had a much more down-homey feel, I guess, for even major metropolitan area.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice way to reset the man of the people Superman that Grant Morrison tried to start him off as at the beginning, but they're a little gun-shy to go whole hog on.
Yeah.
The original is like, hey, I'm going to go beat up that guy that's abusing his wife kind of Superman that he originally started off as. And I love me some mega hipster Archie Comics looking Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a fan of that. It's not quite Frank Whiteley's All-Star Jimmy Olsen, which is my favorite Jimmy Olsen of all time, but it's pretty darn close.
Fair enough. A nice second is always good, too.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Cooter's still on art with this one, right?
Yeah,
so...
You know I'm going to say about that at this point.
So we're actually 3 for 3 when it comes for artists right now between Cooter, Finch, and Fabok.
Yeah.
They all did a really good job so far. I feel like we don't give them enough credit a lot of times, the artists. I know you do because you have the art background, but it's always...
I'm just always going like, Aaron Cooter's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I know you could probably go for like a half hour alone on stylistic choices that they make, but I'm trying to spare the audience of that.
He's so good at drawing monsters, Sean. Did you see that shadow monster?
I
He had like skulls for teeth. It was amazing.
I know. So we're going to move on to Green Lantern number 41. We're dealing with Space Renegade Hal Jordan. And who's
if
Hal
Guy
Jordan?
Gardner can do it, I can do it too.
Yep, Hal Jordan, one of the greatest of the Green Lanterns who eventually...
They keep telling us that, so it must be true.
Well, eventually he failed his way upwards enough to become leader of the Green Lantern Corps.
He's the entourage of the Green Lantern.
By way of everyone that was higher ranking than him either betrayed the Corps and left it or died.
Yeah.
Basically, he became leader of the Green Lantern Corps. Okay, sure, let's do it. It went about as well as you would think it would. He's a little brash. He's not one to really think things through his actions all the time. And at the end of the day, it ended up being most of the universe hates the Green Lantern Corps. It's kind of they did their job. They saved the universe multiple times. But they broke a few eggs along the way, and people weren't really happy with the way they were doing things. They thought they were being a little totalitarian in their rule. So Hal Jordan decided, okay, well, that's on me. That's 100% on me as leader, so I'm going to take all the blame and be like, mwahaha, I was a horribly evil leader of the Green Lantern Corps, and then I'm just gonna leave the Green Lantern Corps and be like, mwahaha, you'll never catch me, Green Lantern Corps. And what he does is he steals the first weapon that was ever used. Instead of the ring, there was a gauntlet that was made to try to harness willpower. And it was just too powerful. So he ends up stealing that to use because he turns in his ring and takes the gauntlet and punches people in the face and flies off, puts on a trench coat, grows out his hair, and goes renegade mode. I'm a villain now. For real. You gotta believe me, guys. I'm evil.
Pardon me while I save this puppy. Still super evil.
Yeah, it's all part of my evil master plan.
I'm kidnapping this baby from this burning building.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's trying to make it seem like he's this bad person, so that way the universe will hate him instead of the Green Lantern Corps itself. And but he's still a good guy at heart, and he's doing good things. And in this case, he's rescuing a royal member of this distant planet's family.
Kidnapping
this royal member named Virgo, who was kidnapped himself and forced to fight in gladiator pits. And he's like, ooh, I'm gonna kidnap that guy that's in there and store him at his parents' house where they'll never expect it, except they might pay me money for it. I don't know. Something like that. He's rescuing the goddamn guy. Yeah. And he ends up going in and busts this guy out. But as he is doing so, the trackers, the hunters that actually captured him in the first place, and all the giant monsters that they are forced to fight within the pits, end up pinning them down. And Hal Jordan, of course, has a very, very easy time taking them out because he introduces them to a horrible monster from Earth. A horrible monster that has not just been a flash in the pan. He's shown up multiple times in the DCU since the New 52 relaunch. He attacks these guys with a giant googly-eyed squid.
Yeah.
And really, if you want to keep people away from Earth, you attack them with giant googly-eyed amorous squids because they just start wrapping their tentacles all around. And all these bounty hunters are just like, ew, it's so slimy. And eventually, he ends up taking them all out except for the leader, a guy by the name of Trap. Bit on the nose, but that's his name. And Trap whispers something into Hal Jordan's ear, and we don't get to hear what it is. And Hal Jordan goes, what? No, you're wrong. And he ends up knocking out Trap and goes, we're taking this guy with us. And he makes a green space motorcycle out of his ring construct, or out of his glove construct, throws the two of them on it,
Jordan.
And flies off back to his spaceship. Yeah, so he flies off back to his spaceship where he comes inside with the two and immediately starts being berated by his plucky AI of the spaceship.
Really?
Unfortunately, he calls her Darlene. Yeah, it's not quite. It's not quite. It has a little less innocence. It's more of a GLaDOS style cynical robot thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Well, I know, but it's still fun. It's still very, very fun. And if it gets us closer to an Aya type character, I'll take it.
If it's not Aya, it ain't the real thing.
You can still get it there. You can still get it there. Besides, we don't want to retell stories that have already been told in the animated series.
I know.
But we can bring in stuff that worked, and you and I both agreed the Aya worked in the animated series. And if they get a Razor type character as well, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
And then if Hal Jordan leaves the book for a while and we just focus on those two again, not going to complain at all. So anyway, before flying Virgo home back to his royal family, he has to follow up on what Trap told him, and what they find out is actually true what Trap told him, and that is that Mogo and the entire Green Lantern Corps are gone because they fly back to Sector 0 and we see the desiccated husk of a planet that looks like it's been destroyed. And he's looking at it like, Mogo? No! Mogo, no! No, Mogo! No! Mogo, no! The Reddit believes it was Jon Stewart was left in charge too long and blew up another planet.
Jon Stewart.
I found that quite humorous. So, again, I kind of really like the way they're doing this. It doesn't sound like it should work on paper when you first talk about it, but it was fun.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. He, quote unquote, doesn't have full control of the power gauntlet. So sometimes it does things that his subconscious is thinking instead of like his active will.
Okay, that's fun.
Or at least he blames it on it that way because it'll just like randomly hit the trap guy and he's like, not me, guys. I'm not controlling it. And then it hits him again and they're like, man, you got to get control of it. And he's like, okay, that time I did it on purpose, guys. So it's a good premise. It's a good setup. And I think it's a bit more lighthearted for as dark and, I'm Renegade Hal Jordan. It's got some fun in it too. And I enjoy that. The adventure Spielberg type movie, adventure stuff. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on to Green Arrow number 41.
Oh, so heavy.
We're working on some Nightbirds.
Yeah.
Trying to chase away some of those awkward Green Arrow blurs. The Nightbirds.
Sorry.
So, we're back in Seattle. Oliver Queen is back in action. Being Green Arrow, keeping his ear to the streets, trying to make sure no one is failing this city.
Well, you don't want to fail this city.
No, you don't.
He has to shoot them with an arrow if they fail this city.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only got so many arrows.
Usually right through the hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the best place to shoot someone.
Yeah. His stepsister, Emiko, is back in his care, stuck going to school with normal people and threatening to slit the throat of any classmate that sends her pictures of their penises.
Okay.
Emiko. If only old crony McPenis-Hater is still alive to recruit some new Amazons, Emiko would be on the top of her list.
Young lady, I have a mission for you.
Yeah. Henry Fifth is his tech guy running out of his favorite Wu-Tang Clan member, the Old Dirty Chinese restaurant. Felicity Smoke oddly has gone off to her home planet of Argus, apparently. And it almost seemed like right before pre-Convergence, there was a lot of stuff where like all these surprise characters were showing up, and it really seemed like that was supposed to be like a after effect of Convergence or something.
Okay.
Like Magog and Felicity, and everything just sort of seemed a little bit out of place, but they never really figured out a good way to work that into the story. Okay. It almost seemed like they were trying to do that.
Kind of. I mean, some of it just seemed like they were, they had a hall pass, I think, going into Convergence, and they had an excuse to say it didn't happen or it happened in a different Earth or whatever afterwards. Yeah.
Anyway, we get an intricately detailed story of people going missing and getting killed in the city, being dropped from very high places, higher than any building, and a mysterious white man that appears on the scene before it happens.
Now, let's specify this is not just a white man.
This is not a Caucasian gentleman. This is a man who is literally white from head to toe in his clothing choice, his hair, everything.
The first time he showed up, and a lot of the theme of this is about the moon, I thought it was going to be Moon from Wonder Woman, the Greek goddess herself. I just saw the all-white character in the crowd, like it was a silhouette of the character in white, I guess. And then they were like, moon. And I was like, holy shit, is it going to be Arrow versus the goddess of the hunt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so there's a weird old wart-covered lady, street lady, who might be a bit psychic, might be a little bit crazy, and she's warning people of Nightbirds. When Ollie investigates surveillance footage with Fifth and they find blurry footage of the white guy and some weird blurry thing flying through the sky, they're like, oh my gosh, it might be these Nightbirds that this lady's talking about. There's some stuff with Queen Industries and Panopticon, which will be a factor in Batman as well, apparently, thanks to little footnotes.
Yes.
They might be the people who were behind building the Weep Whoop
I
suit.
think it was a cameras on police vests.
Okay.
It seems like that was what they were trying to sell, at least to Arrow Green Arrow Industries, Oliver Queen Industries, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like there's a link between this pale guy and cameras and people being caught in images, at least.
Yeah.
He was very keen on getting pictures with his victims before they died.
Yeah. Or
taking pictures of them before he killed them.
Yeah, like a Seahawks player or something. He like took a selfie with him.
Yeah.
Like at a restaurant before he got thrown off the...
It was at least pointed out as part of his MO that a picture needs to be taken, and even after we see that whole Panoptic thing, we see that the board member of Panoptic gets into the car, and it's the pale man driving saying, "Hey, did you do it? Did you sell him all those cameras? Because that's going to be awesome. We're going to be able to murder everybody."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Ollie is investigating things happening around in Pennytown, Seattle's basically Seattle's suicide slum.
Okay.
The area where poor people live, and the cops don't care about us here. He shoots someone to the top of a building with an arrow.
Oh, wow.
Someone wraps a chain. They have a chain wrapped around their arm. They wrap it around one of his arrows. So he just shoots the arrow to the top of an awning, and it takes the person with him up there. And it's amazing, and I don't care that it's not physically possible. Yep. So the person he saves says people have been disappearing due to night birds for months, but
I'm starting to get a feeling that these night birds are important.
They might be.
I'm starting to get a feeling.
But nobody cares about Pennytown. She points him towards Big Dog, the guy that quote-unquote runs Pennytown.
Who run Pennytown?
Big Dog?
Yeah, you're right. Good job. How'd you know that?
Well, I don't know. Well, you asked me, and I said the answer before you asked me the question, so all I had to do is repeat what I just said.
I would have also accepted Master Blaster.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Sorry, Fury Road is the only road I run down. Big Dog is an illegal dogfighter who brings a wolf to a dogfight.
Oh.
Where's Katana to talk about the rules of dogfighting? But Big Dog gets captured by nightbirds, and as Holly deals with all the hurt dogs, we see the white guy drowning Big Dog in bleach. Off at an abandoned warehouse somewhere.
I don't think that was even the case. I think he was bleaching his skin color out of him. I think
it's possible.
I think we have like a racist guy.
I'm not sure if that's how bleach works, but
I don't think that's how it works either. But it will blanch your skin. I can't tell you that much. So we can find out if you want.
No, that's all right.
I mean, I got some bleach under the sink.
Cool. That's
if
cool.
you want to really make this a really experimental podcast here. We could really start proving some of these.
No, that's all right.
I'm going to shoot an arrow onto my roof, and I want you to tie a rope to it around your wrist,
and see if I go up there.
We're gonna solve all.
We're gonna become the myth. We're gonna become the Mythbusters of the comic set, huh? That's what you're saying.
Well, it'll be a very short run after we do the bleach one, and you're dead, and I just go.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is there a bleached guy on your roof? Oh.
All right.
Clearly it was suicide.
Yep. But yeah, it was very creepy. It was wordy, but in a good way.
It was to the
point where Justice League was an extra long issue, and I read this right after that, and I thought that we were getting all extra long issues for this week.
Sure. It has that novelistic approach. Mm-hmm. It's telling a story. You can tell it's a long form story. It's not a 1 piece, 2 piece. Self-contained even. I don't think we're going to get a full gratuitous story told in an issue in any of these. Where it's you read an issue and you have a low, a high, a peak, an end, and some sort of resolution, even if it's a cliffhanger resolution or something like that. I think it's going to just be this is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, whatever. And then when you read it all together, it's one long form story. Which I have no qualms with.
Yeah.
If it's done like this, where you can tell that straight out of the gate. It doesn't look like they're going to flip flop around. They're looking for a hardcore story. They want to tell a long form story, and they're going to stick to it.
Yeah, it's a nice start for Benjamin Percy here.
Yeah. I definitely liked it. Got your money's worth, that's for sure.
Definitely. And Zurcher is bridging the Sorrentino gap from before by going a little bit more realistic than the stuff we saw in Future's End, but still keeping it his own. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about that at all.
No, it's a different style for him too. I haven't seen this one from him. Mind you, I haven't really followed all of his history before the New 52 or anything like that, so I don't know if this is calling back to something different than he's done prior, but really liked it. Really liked it. I liked the fact that we have an Oliver Queen who actually has grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
he's still kind of a D-bag. He's still a little jerky.
It's like I kind of wasn't paying that much attention to the boardroom sequence because there's just so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, Oliver's checking out of this, so I can kind of check out of this too.
Let's all just kind of yawn and look out the window for this scene.
I gotta think about those night birds.
So good. See, look at this.
Yeah.
This is a good start.
Yeah.
This is a really solid start to this DCU thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite enjoying it. Quite. So why don't you let me know what you have for the second half of DCU?
Batman Beyond and Bat-Mite.
Oh man, that's it?
Yeah.
How did you get so few?
Yes, I did more in the front.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. I have the awesomeness that is Midnighter, who you should all love, and you will by the end of this thing. I also have Omega Men for the hardcore craziness. Lobo number 7's bringing the sexy time. And last but not least for me, Bizarro on his way to Bizarro America to have adventures on that path. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books.
Back.
Oh, no. You can't already start this up now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we are back, and I have Midnighter number 1 to lead off into this second half. And holy cow. Holy cow, Midnighter. I did not know I loved you. I did not know this. Midnighter is a super-powered human being.
Wildstorm represent.
Quite, and doing it very well. He's a superpowered human being with a computer implanted into his brain that can simulate fights in real time. Pretty much he can see the best path to take in any situation. It runs like a million times in his head, and he goes, oh, so if they do this, if I do that, and just take one step to the left, I can just punch them in the face very easily without any problem. So he's kind of the ultimate tactician, and before we get to this book, he's already had a couple adventures through DC's various comic books. He was a member of Stormwatch, who are basically the flags bearers of battling the weird and the odd and the not quite normal. It's not just a guy in tights that they go and fight. At one point, they fought the skyline of L.A. because the city came to life and they had to beat it up. Again,
they sent a guy with a sword to beat up the moon.
Yeah, it was a very weird team. He was used to dealing with weird things. Afterwards, he was dating one of his coworkers, and they kind of split up, and it was really awkward, and he went, I'm just going to go get a new job. And his new job was acting as the guardian / acquirer person for this place called the God Garden, which was a space station that was used to basically get all of the very dangerous weapons, the alien technology, the super tech, off the streets and into a place where they couldn't hurt people. And he worked there for a while until he found out that the person that was in charge of it, a lady by the name of the Gardener, was willing to murder innocent civilians to get these weapons off the street and get them in there. And he went, you're no good. You're a bad person too. I'm just going to strike out on my own. And while he was on his own, he went, kind of used to the hustle and bustle of having people around or at least some teammates or something. Maybe I just need a new boyfriend, and I'll just type up this here online ad, and I'll get me an online dating profile. Let me read you before I can even get to it. Midnighter's online dating profile, because this is a masterpiece of everything. He puts his name in his M, and it says, "Hi, I'm M. I'm looking for dates, friends, or sparring." My interests include violence, but only inventive violence, not just regular violence. Some of my traits: I'm chronically new in town. I have a computer in my brain. Superhuman flexibility. I use that flexibility for justice, though I am looking for other uses for that flexibility, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. have headbutted an alien. I would love to think that these are check boxes that you would choose in your interests. And also, whatever you were thinking, the answer is probably yes, but with punching.
Yep.
Needless to say, his date, a gentleman by the name of Jason, is a little surprised to find out that all of these things are actually true and not just random funny things typed in to get someone's attention. And as they're out for dinner, he's like, yep, I do superhero stuff. It's kind of what I do. It's ruined when these Modoran, this country off in the middle of nowhere, these terrorists come in, busting in with rage weapons that will blind you with rage, looking for defectors from their nation to drag them back. And as they're shooting off their weapons, blinding everyone, everyone's cowering and running and hiding and falling over. And Midnighter does nothing more than just let out a sigh of annoyance as he's finishing his food, the bite at least that he had. He's like, every time I go out to eat, it's like this every time. And he changes into his Midnighter costume and then proceeds to mercilessly beat down everyone in this restaurant, all of these terrorists, to the point that these are like Mortal Kombat X-ray moves where you can see his foot cracking the skull and then like the boot heel is kicking out the back of the skull and
punch someone through the chest and then uppercutting someone else in the jaw, I believe.
Exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous the level of hyper violence it is, but it's this line between comedy and just gritty violence that's purposefully being walked. I mean, it's very blatantly being walked there that keeps it from going too dark or too over the top to just being slapstick. It's walking right on that line.
Yeah.
And it's very, very fun because of it. But needless to say, his date and more importantly, his dinner is ruined by this little altercation. So like any other real man does, he heads on over to the bar to eat some fried food and run the table for pool for a while. And he ends up having a conversation with the bartender named Tony about Apollo and who is his boyfriend on Stormwatch. And he goes, yeah, it's probably for the best he got away. I'm not exactly the best person in the world to be attached to. So, and I need to find who I am anyway. I've been kind of defined by this whole superhero and who I've been dating and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to go out there and find out who I am. So
I love his rapport with the bartender. It's
it was
so good.
It was a great little scene.
I'm really actually your arch nemesis. I'm slowly murdering you with this fried food. Yeah.
I have a regeneration powers. You can't get me. So he ends up going out on a second date with Jason. His date from the night before. It was ruined, but I'm going to try it again. And he basically just goes, so, these are my dimensional doors, and we can teleport all over the place. My apartment actually exists in the spaces between all cities on the planet, so I guess it's easy to find parking. You can kind of go anywhere. No one's really going to complain. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you around the world and the view from my apartment and everything like that. And poor Jason is just kind of like, you have no idea how weird your life is it? This is just like a regular Tuesday for you. And Midnighter is like, no. Tuesdays get strange. Trust me. This is not a Tuesday. I do not like Tuesdays. Those are strange days. And poor Jason is just like, you know what? I'm actually really turned on. I mean, your nonchalant violence is just really, really just exuding a lot of testosterone. And I'm just going to, where are we? Are we at your apartment? Oh, we're in a city in the world. Yeah, we're at your apartment then. So let's go there. And they end up sleeping together and enjoying their evening. And the following morning, Midnighter comes on a little strong because he wakes up and Jason starts making him breakfast when he just kind of goes, nope. Here, I'm just going to attach this nanobot to your neck that attaches you to my living network of other sexual conquests that let me know whenever there's trouble in their area. And Jason's like, whoa, dude, this is second date. I really don't want to be hooked up to your network of sexual conquests. Can we skip past that part somehow? And
so good.
It really is. The guy is you almost feel bad for him because he's just so blind to how weird everything he wants to do is. It's just so normal to him now that he doesn't even comprehend that it's just so weird.
Oh my God.
So while Jason is scolding him and saying, dude, this is so far over the line, I don't even know where to begin, he ends up getting a message from the gardener back at the God Garden, who was recently attacked by a bespectacled man who may favor sweater vests and spiral patterns.
I'm
just saying, maybe if readers of Grayson may know who we're talking about, who had broken in, beat up the gardener, and stole every single one of the weapons that had been stored there for safekeeping. So I'm assuming he's going to look like Jim Tressel with weapons strapped all over him, just marching out there to get revenge against Spiral. That's what I'm picturing in my head right now. So anyhow, the gardener goes, hey, I need your help. I know you don't like me, but we got to get this stuff back. And by the way, just to sweeten the deal, this bespectacled guy also stole all the information I had on you before your transformation into Midnighter. You could get your pass back. You could find out who you were. What do you say? And Midnighter goes, let me check in with my previous sexual conquests and see if any of them have seen this guy, and I'm going to go punch him. And that's where we end, with Midnighter about to go punch people after he checks in with all his sexual conquests and sees if anyone's seen anything. Again, so much fun. Just the entire tone of the book,
I think it's safe to say there's not really anything else like this out there right now.
No, there isn't at all. And I was actually talking to folks at the store when I was picking up my books, and some of them were like, oh, Midnighter, that's the new gay book, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's that the lead character's gay. Obviously, it's going to be inclusive to that community. That's what they're going to go for. And they are. Don't get me wrong, they are quite a bit. But the main trait of him being gay, if that's what you're coming in for, to be like, oh, well, he's the gay hero, the main thing that sets him apart and makes this such a good book is that isn't what defines him at all.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, it's just part of who he is, but that's not really in his definition of himself at all. He is Midnighter first, and that's just an aspect of who he is at his core. And I think that is such a refreshing. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to be put up on a pedestal. They're not going to glorify the whole thing. He is just going to be a down in the dirt, just like everyone else, normal person. Well, as normal as Midnighter is in this case, and allow him to make mistakes and do good things and do bad things and just react as a human being.
Yeah.
And I have no qualms with that whatsoever. And I think that is more. And mind you, I cannot speak for that community. I'm not obviously a member of it, but I think that does infinitely more to make it just normal to other folks as well as within the and without the community by just making it, that's who I am, but whatever. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, he even has the line in this book, does it really look like I care what anyone else thinks about me or how I should be behaving because of this aspect of my life? And it's like, no, I guess not, dude.
Yeah.
You be you. Z-snap that shit. I don't give a shit. You do whatever you want out there because you are awesome, Midnight.
Yeah.
Again, everything about the book was just fun. I recommend taking a peek at it. It may be for you. It may not be for you, but that's the whole point of this DCYou initiative is a lot of different tones. This one hit me right in the solar plexus.
It's just so cool.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just cool fun, and I'm looking forward to the next issue of it. That's really all I can say about it. In the same vein, Omega Men. This one is I guess maybe not in the same vein. This is cool in an entirely different way because we know nothing about these Omega Men except the prelude that they released. The little 8-page mini that they did a couple weeks ago, in which we found out that a group of, what would you call them? The Citadel Empire, kind of a territorial,
evil empire kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess that's, I would almost say a Space America, you might even get out of it. They're out there doing their thing to make the universe a safer place, and that's how they're kind of selling it, at least to all the other universes and galaxies and planets that they're conquering. Hey guys, we're here to help you out, 'cause freedom, yeah! And we're gonna give it to you. But it turns out they're kind of totalitarian, and they're really going over the line and enslaving these planets more or less. So I would say a little different from Space America. I would. This book is riding a line, a very dangerous line, and they know it.
Yeah.
They blatantly know what they're playing with, and they're kind of doing that. But on one of these planets are the Omega Men, who are the freedom fighters as they see themselves. To the Citadel, they're terrorists. And in that 8-page mini, they stated their manifesto that they would fight off the Citadel by killing the messenger that they sent, the White Lantern by the name of Kyle Rayner. He used to be a Green Lantern, now he's a White Lantern. He's a human guy who was flying out there trying to be nice and broker peace. And these Omega Men weren't going to have anything to do with it. And we had a terrorist-style video where they slit his throat and went, "No more Citadel, we're coming for you next." And this one picks up literally right from there, where the Citadel has traced that signal and is sending troops to go and capture them. But these troops, they don't speak the local language. They don't really know how to talk to these people. So as they're coming in, we see the troops on the lander reading their flashcards of what they're supposed to be saying, like, "Where, Omega Men? We will not hurt you. We are your friends." And I don't think they're quite comprehending what the phrases mean. They just know that's what they're supposed to say. And they're just like, okay, let's go in there and do it. And they go running onto this place, shooting up everyone, just yelling out, "We will not hurt you. We are your friends." And all these things. And then just, "Where Tigor? Where Omega Men? We will not hurt you. We are your friends." Pow, 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 pow. And as they finally tracked them down, it was actually the Omega Men were all over the place around them. And we get these quick little vignette introductions of each of the members as they brutally maul every single one of these Citadel troopers that were sent down. Tigor is down in the basement, and the squad of them goes down the staircase to get him, and all you see is the trap door like flinging open as they're trying to escape, and just limbs being pulled off as they're pulled back down into the basement, and they're screaming. We know Alpha is their god, and all of the dialogue is, we don't understand it when they're not speaking quote unquote English. So all we get are like words here and there, and we just hear "Alpha, Alpha, Alpha, Alpha," where they're like screaming, dear God, he's tearing us apart." And, or Tigor or Omega Men. So we're really only getting very few words from all these Citadel members that we're piecing together to get an idea of what's happening. It's very well done, I thought, but it takes a read or two to get the feel of what's happening. So that's Tigor, giant tiger guy, tearing people up, very brutal. We meet Scraps, the tough young female pistolier braggart. There's a title for you.
Yeah.
Who's just kind of like, pew pew, yeah, let's QQ more pew pew, let's do this. And she's shooting everyone up. Brute, who doesn't just say "I am Brute," but he's a giant rock guy, spelled Broot, and very stoic, very silent, kind of the silent muscle type guy, and he's just kicking down walls and clonking heads together. And last but not least, Primus and Doc. Primus being the non-violent, promised he wasn't going to hurt anyone, but ends up shooting someone and feels bad about it. And then the little robot medical unit that floats around with him that's just like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead. He doesn't have a head. Good job." So that's how they go through that. And what they were protecting from all of these people, other than just themselves, is this box that they keep referring to as the bomb. And they go, "Okay, is the bomb secure? Yeah, okay, well, let's get out of here through the underground tunnels." And they pick up the box and they're running it through. And as they're making their way out, the Viceroy of the Citadel gets word that all of his troops were killed. So he calls in a drone strike that absolutely obliterates the city block they were in, the facility they were in. Again, running that line right down it. And, as they're down in these tunnels making their way out, they want to check on the bomb. They're like, is it safe? Was it damaged? Is it okay? Well, if we turn on the lights, they might see us. So we're only going to get a quick second. And it's a whole page of black, but segmented into 9 panels of black, 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 black. And then the middle panel, there's just like one panel of light where they like light a lighter real quick to check it. And in that one panel, we see inside the box is Kyle Rayner all beat up and bleeding out. And they're like, "Yep, he's still alive. Don't worry, buddy. We will not hurt you. We are your friends." And then it goes to black again and then fades out into the quote of another military, depends on which side you're on type quote. So we'll see how they're going. Again, they're riding a dangerous line on this one. If you're really following this story and trying to piece together any real life equivalents, you're like, where are we going with this, guys? Where are we going here?
Yeah, and you're putting in your work on this one.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are.
me just trying to glance through it while I was, waiting for you to take your break. Like, I was like, okay, I probably need to read this a couple more times.
Well, yeah, there's like, out of the 20 pages, you have 18 pages of garbledy-gook.
Yeah.
With just a word in each bubble that's not garbledy-gook, and you're like, what's happening here? So I saw the little light bulb go over your head where you're like, oh, they don't speak English, and that's why they can only say those 2 or 3 things. Yep.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I like a thinking man's book on occasion. And I think this one is not just for the work that you have to put in to get what's happening, but also when you put it down and you're like, I'm drawing some parallels here.
Yeah.
And I'm not liking what I'm reading in some of it. So, not quality-wise, but what it's saying is a little too close to the truth sometimes.
Yep.
Woo, freedom.
All right. Well, let's move on to the future.
How far?
Far future.
5 years in the future?
35 years in the future.
I am not prepared for 35 years in the future.
Former Red Robin, Tim Drake, who, as we all know, is currently living under the name Batman Beyond.
Okay.
is in future Gotham in Batman Beyond #1. It's the follow-up to the Future's End that, 5 people asked for?
I would say.
Okay.
Most of the way through that book, we were all asking for follow-ups from it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the last 2 issues, even just the last issue itself, where we were like, oh, so that's where we're going with this? Well, that's not what I was hoping for.
That's not what I was enjoying and wanted more of. Okay.
But
we will see what's going on. It is Batman Beyond. He's fighting the Joker's gang because Batman Beyond's always fighting the Joker's gang.
So we are pulling in stuff from the animated series.
It's the future. The letter S has lost all meaning.
It's all Z's all the time.
We learn more about the future. In Gotham, there is a Powers / Wayne Tech device called the Veil that keeps Gotham safe from Brother Eye.
As in the same Powers company that's in the current run of Batman?
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But only Gotham. He meets back up with Matt McGinnis, Terry McGinnis' little brother, and his guardian Nora. They are together because Matt was on a field trip at her work when all the crap went down.
Oh, when all the spider robots attacked?
All spider robots attacked. So his mom died, and Nora was just like, well, this kid that was on my field trip needs a guardian. I guess I'll take care of him now, which... Man, that's a rough day at work, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, talk about bringing your work home with you.
Spider robots.
Spider robots. I'm a adoptive mother now. Okay.
Midnighter does not have spider robots on his list of interests.
Nope. Matt is all grumpy that Terry didn't leave the suit to him, which is a nice little touch there to the relationship between him and Tim Drake.
Yes.
Nora gives Tim a mission to find the Lodge, which is like a concentration camp? Question mark?
Is it? I'm not entirely sure what that is at the end here.
They were being very vague about it. They were making some allusions, but they didn't have all the answers. But it's in New York, and it's to save some more members of Terry's McGinnis's supporting cast. So Tim flies off to New York, and the Alfred AI that's in his suit is even mentioning that the future has changed as a result of Terry going back in time. Because while there are still spider robots, things are a little bit different. So I'm kind of experiencing this for the first time, just like you are.
Yeah, it's not just 3 humans left alive anymore.
Yeah.
There are pockets of humanity. There is some civilization still left. There almost seems like there's a resistance to this whole thing.
Yeah. But case in point here, the Statue of Liberty in New York is half sunk. Great Disaster style, as in Commandy and the Dalmatian Mountain Great Disaster. Yeah. So he has to fight a robot spider Superman, fries his suit, electrifying him, and so with no real other option to do, with his suit on the fritz and kind of rebooting, he sneaks into the lodge to hide in plain sight while Alfred repairs himself. And he runs into old Barbara Gordon, who recognizes him from the past as Tim Drake. Old Barbara Gordon. Better watch out, old Barbara Gordon. We know what Tim Drake's into.
Yeah.
He loves the older ladies.
And the redheads.
Mm-hmm.
And the redheads.
Redheaded older ladies. That is right in his wheelhouse.
Or is that Grace? I thought Grayson was the redheads. Yeah, Grayson's redheads.
But
Not Tim Drake.
But Madison Payne.
Was she redheaded too?
I think so.
I don't think she was. I don't remember.
Okay. Her hair was certainly red when it caught on fire.
Well, yes, there you go. Okay, I guess you win that argument. Again, I thought they did a much better job than I was expecting.
It is a well done comic.
Yeah, I think Chang's artwork is amazing.
Oh,
in this.
good God, yeah, Bernard Chang's great.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been one of my. I've been a huge supporter of him since Demon Knights. So.
Well, true. I just thought it was a nice mix of the old animated series style. Like, there's a lot of obvious influence from the animated series that are being pulled into it, but through his filter into something that's uniquely his own while still honoring the heritage of it. And I was like, man, that's actually a nice blend there. I think that works out really, really well.
Yeah.
Story-wise, again, I'm so much happier that we have more than just 3 people or 7 people
dystopian
alive.
spider robots and rubble everywhere.
With just 7 people going, we got to fight off every spider robot in the world.
There's a spider robot Batman. There's a spider robot Hawkman. There's a spider robot Space Cabbie. You know,
not spider robot Space Cabbie.
No,
anyone but him.
They fused him with his own cab. That's so dark.
How will we get from place to place?
No. And of course, we all know the big main complaint about this. Tim Drake did not clean one glass in this issue.
You would think.
You would think in a dystopian future there'd be a lot more dirty glasses.
I've played Fallout. I know how this
all
works.
the glasses seem very clean in Neo Gotham.
Maybe the actual Tim Drake never left the timeline because of everything being changed, and there's been another Tim Drake that's grown old with the actual ages that has been there cleaning all the glasses.
Yeah, you know,
for the last 30 years or so.
That would explain a lot.
That would be actually I think that's arc worthy. That should be arc 2, where he goes to find out the mystery of the clean glasses.
Yep.
I'm just tossing that out there. You don't have to jump on it. If you don't, I'll just file it away for my writing future.
For your creator-owned book.
Yes, a guy who cleans glasses goes into the future,
featuring Mal Morkerin.
So next up, I have Sexy Time Lobo number 7. It's just called Lobo number 7, but the Sexy Time is appended because before, you may know Lobo as the big, fat, bulky biker guy in chains and leather, and since the New 52 has
Sounds
really
like
started,
the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Sure. Since the New 52 has started, we've been dealing with a sleek, Sexy Time Lobo because we found out Lobo is not a name, it's a title. It was the title for the person cursed to destroy their home planet of Zarnia, and the other, supposedly the big, bulky biker guy was faking it to improve his street cred so that he could get better bounty hunting jobs, and this guy is actually the real Lobo. And he has been trying to find out who it was that maybe, just maybe, manipulated him into destroying his own planet. That's what came out in the first arc of 6 issues. Someone was contracted to destroy Earth. He was contracted to protect it. And during that adventure, he found out that maybe someone did the same thing, but had not paid him for his destruction of his own home planet. And now he's looking for information on that by tracking down this geo-surveyor that had visited his planet just before it exploded. Planets explode. Maybe a geo-surveyor is a good person to talk to. Maybe he knows more than what he's letting on. So he wraps up his sexy time with Siamese space alien twins that are joined at the waist, I guess you could say. So it's like just their upper bodies. There's 2 of them with just one set of lower body. And he's having a good old time with them. And he's like, oh, sorry, ladies. I have to go murder some people. I will be back shortly. Keep the bed warm. I will be right back. And then he goes outside and he tracks down this geo-surveyor and is about to quickly dispatches all of his guards and goes, hey, dude, I got some questions for you. But before he can get them, someone assassinates the geo-surveyor from behind. Before he can even get any answers, he's like, how annoying. And then a bunch of armed thugs run in. They're like, hup, 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 hup. And they go to attack him and he beats all them up. But they're really, really stupid and easy. And he's like, this is boring too. Well, I guess if I'm not going to get any answers, I'm just going to go back to being Sexy Time Lobo. So he heads on back to his Siamese space alien twins. And as soon as he walks in and opens the door, like 100 sniper rifle lasers all just go and target on him. And he's like, aw, You guys sold me out? Not cool, ladies. Not cool at all. And we find out who they sold him out to. And that is a lady by the name of Kadra, who is a representative of the Void Whisper group of assassins. And we know them because this is the same group that contracted all the people to destroy Earth in the last arc. And the representative comes out and goes, hey, Lobo, we found out that we were contracted to destroy Earth, and some other party contracted you to stop us, and we don't like being used as chess pieces, and we have a feeling you don't either. So we wanted to find out who these two parties are and just kind of get our revenge on them. We also found out that they also may have information about Zarnia as well, so if you want in on this, you could probably find out the information of what you want. He goes, yeah, that's good enough. I mean, I'll jump in on that. I got nothing else going on. But before I go, let me say farewell to my Siamese space alien twins. And he's like, you guys betray me, but it's cool. Don't worry. And he gives them a big old French kiss, and uses his, super tongue wrestling powers to attach a bomb to the tongue of the alien woman and then detonates her head and goes, yeah, that's what you get for turning me in, while the Siamese other half is just screaming in terror at the bloody stump attached to her now.
Ah!
He's like, yeah, sexy time Lobo's out. And then he goes and gets sent on his first contract. I kind of figured it out because every issue he's having sexy time adventures. And I was like, how does he not have kids everywhere? Oh, he murders them all the time right afterwards. Duh, that's the safest
an awful
sex you
person.
can have. I probably shouldn't say that. The safest sex you can have is murdering the partner afterwards.
That's not a good thing, dude.
No, I'm gonna take that one back, everyone.
Murdering is wrong, kids.
Yes, murder is wrong. So anyway, he goes after the first person that's on the Void Whispers list, who is one of their own informants, who is also selling information on who their targets are to the actual targets, for the right price. So he's double dipping, telling the person that's going to be assassinated, give me $1 million and I'll tell you who's coming for you, and then selling the information of who is supposed to be killed to the assassins themselves. And Lobo comes in and beats him up, and he's this church priest, and he goes in the confessional and knocks him out of it and is about to beat him up and get some answers to the questions when all of a sudden the eyeball of this preacher starts like bulging out and bulging out until it just erupts out of his head, and this like metallic robot spider thing just kind of leaps out from inside his skull, trailing brains and ocular nerves along with it. And it turns out it's some sort of tracker that was implanted within him. And with his death, it has alerted the people that were keeping watch on him, and that is a group of a Thanagarian, a Martian, and a Daemonite, who I don't know if they're supposed to be law people or if they're other assassins or what, but they come busting in to come after Lobo because he has fallen right into their trap. Mwah. It's actiony. You gotta admit it's actiony. So, it's the whole thing of this DCU thing is having different tones for different people, and I completely see why people would love this particular book. Completely see it. It's right there. It's your action popcorn movie. It is your, way too cool for the room, almost like a anti-villain James Bond type character.
Being terrible to ladies.
Being horrible to everyone around him, but just always coming out on top no matter what, and it should sell. I don't see why it shouldn't. It skirts a little too far over the line for me sometimes, where I'm just like, dude, have some redeeming quality.
Yeah.
Just one. Give me one redeeming quality so that I can actually like you. And I'm still kind of reaching for that right now. He has his code that he follows. That's something. But we didn't get much of that in this one because he seemed to almost contradict said code. Because he's not getting paid to kill Siamese twin people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with that, Lobo? What's up with that? So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely willing to give it a shot.
All right. We're going into the wacky back half here.
Yep, the goofy, all ages, fun time stuff.
Yeah, Bat-Mite #1. It's Bat-Mite. We open on Bat-Mite being exiled from, I'm assuming, the fifth dimension.
I would assume so as
by
well.
a tribunal, so someone else can just deal with him because they are sick of it. If the fifth dimension is already fed up with you, you know you've got to be doing something wrong.
Yeah, when Mr.
When he is a paragon of virtue and he is not getting kicked out.
He can stay, but you got to go, Bat-Mite.
Yeah, that's saying something. So his whole thing is he deals with that by trying to make Batman better. He tries to help Batman fight against his deadliest enemies, male nurses with shotguns.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are a plague on society.
Mm-hmm. And he keeps saying, Batman, you can be doing this better. You should have a bat laser and, like, bat guns. Oh, my gosh, guns would make this so much easier. They've got guns, too. Why aren't you being a better Batman?
Maybe if he hired male nurses with shotguns to just shoot people for him, that would get him past his little rule that he has, and everything's fine then.
Yeah, exactly.
And then those male nurses have a job. It's a win-win for everyone, really.
Yeah. So he wrecks a Batmobile, and Batman pretty much just ignores him the whole time, finishes his job, and saves a pretty girl from the back of the male nurse's trunk, and goes and flies off in his, like, flying helicopter bat plane or whatever. So after Batman leaves, Bat-Mite gets drugged by a pretty nurse, and that's pretty much our indicator that the tone of this is going to be as Animaniacs as humanly possible, as he even says hello, nurse to her.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I was just like, yay, Animaniac stuff.
Yep. And he gets taken back to a mansion and is introduced to Dr. Trauma. She's an old lady and a plastic surgeon, and she takes people's brains out of their heads and switches bodies so old people can live forever and young people can die young.
It's a fairly common practice.
Yes, I know that. I know there's a certain eight-legged doctor who's done something similar before.
Similar.
Yeah. So, the pretty nurse that tricked him is actually 90 years old. Yeah, it's like, Agnes? Why is her name Agnes? It's like, because I'm old, sonny. I may look hot with these gams, but I love a Werther's original as much as the next person. So she, Gaz, this is like a running joke that he's so bad at this that he keeps getting drugged by this lady,
Yes.
by this, the underling to the main villain. And so she takes him down to their young people dungeon where he gets thrown in a cell with a drugged up Hawkman who Dr. Trauma is going to switch bodies with.
She's scraping the bottom of the barrel there. Isn't
Yeah, not saying much for Hawkman. No. Poor Hawkman.
He also was like, hello, nurse.
Yes.
Oh, no.
No, not again. Oh. But yes, if the premise of this series is going to be Bat-Mite trying to improve all of these superheroes, I can see why Hawkman would be one of the first choices.
Yes, I do. Actually, the line in this particular book where he's like, oh, Hawkman, yeah, you've been having a rough go of it, haven't you? I've heard some of the stuff that's been going on with you. Don't worry, I'll patch you right up.
And he actually pulls out his own bat laser that he just willed into existence.
Yes.
Like, I gotta show this to Batman. He's really missing out on stuff.
No, I think it's a great premise. I think they're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of
6 issues sounds just about right.
Yeah, it does sound about
It
right.
was a little bit more serious than I was expecting. I was expecting a
Same.
little bit wackier.
I was expecting
but it is
just zaniness off the like crazy zaniness because I have Bizarro next, and that one just goes. Let's not even try to really follow the rules of reality at all. Let's just do our own thing.
But I suppose if we are kind of going off the Animaniacs presence of here is this one like rogue element messing up a perfectly normal story, I can see that.
Fair enough. I guess that is kind of his motif too, though, being that I don't fit in this storytelling universe whatsoever.
Yeah.
Batman's all dark and grim, and I'm like this weird little imp that's goofy. Yeah. I guess now that I'm kind of rationalizing it out, it does make a lot more sense. It does make a lot more sense.
It's like a fake dark and grim and gritty like villain that he's dealing with, but at the same time, there's nothing really. She's not doing anything grisly or gross or anything
at all. Well, off camera, yes, but not on camera. Mm-hmm. So last but not least, or first but definitely the least,
first but definitely the most.
There you go. Is Bizarro number 6 because they're going backwards.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, it's Bizarro number 1, but when you open it up, it says, Chapter 6 of Bizarro America, the story. which is dealing with Bizarro, who is God, how do I even explain Bizarro? The opposite of Superman. He's a mirror reflection of Superman that wants to be a good guy, but everything that he comes from a cube planet that does everything backwards. They're all messed up. They all like reversos. If you've ever heard something's Bizarro, that's what it is. It's not right. It's the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
It started in Superman, not just a thing that people say.
No. It is a thing. It is a person. It is a place. It is Bizarro.
It's almost a state of mind.
It really is. Bizarro, I love you. Mm-hmm. But Bizarro is now on a road trip with Jimmy Olsen, who's decided he wants to make a coffee table book about a cross-country trip with Bizarro, because Superman wanted him out of Metropolis because everyone started to think that Bizarro was his brother. His slow, dim-witted brother. Yeah. He's like, this guy's gots to go. And so Jimmy convinced him that he would take him to Bizarro America, aka Canada, to let him be Superman up there. And they were going to be best friends, and they're going to get there. But they have to drive because they don't trust Bizarro's flying because he always flies through things. And as they're going there, it goes about as well as you would think. Bizarro keeps doing stupid stuff. He keeps trashing the car. Jimmy keeps telling him not to do things, and he reads that as do things. And they keep flipping through all the stations on the radio, and it's just a horrible road trip. Made even worse when Bizarro's pet chupacabra, Colin, attacks Jimmy Olsen and makes him crash his car into a tree, which is how we get the secret origin of Colin the chupacabra.
What?
That's again, we just abandon reality in this book. And this is the secret origin of Colin the chupacabra. Bizarro was sad. And when he flew out to the southwest to look at the stars to try to find his black planet, he found a chupacabra eating a goat and thought it was cute and took it with him and named it Colin, and it's his pet now.
Okay.
And that's the secret origin of Colin the chupacabra.
All right.
But it's just this thing just going chick, 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 and he's like, oh, I will love you and pet you and call you Colin.
Yep.
And so Jimmy's just like, I'm not even going to ask why you were keeping a chupacabra. We just got to get this car fixed. So they haul it back into town where they find the used car dealership, aka, let me get this right, King Tut's slightly used car oasis, which is just him screaming out Egyptian puns of trying to sell cars, and they have a pyramid of slightly used cars that they have built. And whenever
you're in denial if you don't think these are great prices.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You get ding. You got one of them.
I did?
Yep.
Yes.
But they have a pyramid of used cars that whenever anyone in the family dies, they are entombed within the pyramid of used cars. It's really, really weird. He's doing his commercials. He's dressed up like King Tut. And he seems to have like evil Jafar powers because he's just like, you will buy a new car. You will get the undercoating. And Jimmy Olsen's like, I will buy a new car. I will get the undercoating. And it doesn't seem to affect Bizarro, so he ends up strong-arming, just crushing this deal right out of him. And he's like, no, you fix car for Jimmy Olsen, best friend. And King Tut goes, fine, I'll do it. And those two go off to check into a hotel until the car is repaired. But that evening, while Bizarro's having the most horrifying dreams of things that he loves, because it's in like serious, because this is all done in very cartoony, light, kid yay style things, but his dreams are like this gritty, like super realistic, deformed Bizarro with like malformed smiley face people lifting him up in the air like, yay, you're our hero. And it's all like, does not fit whatsoever with the art style. And
is it that Bill Sienkiewicz picture that's been floating around? Oh my gosh, that looked amazing.
This is so weird. But to him, that's like happy, fun, light, good. And he's like, happy dream. And I'm just thinking, like, that's horrifying.
I thought that was an alternate cover or something. I noticed it flipping around Tumblr. Jeez.
Yep. So while he's sleeping, King Tut communes with the ancient gods of Egypt, Osiris and, I don't know, Ra and
Anubis,
Anubis
in charge of his market.
Yes, of course. And they actually respond. They pull him off into this little subspace area and go, yes, King Tut, you have served us well as a used car salesman. You're our only follower left in all of the world. So we will bestow upon you our magic rod of power. And they hand it to him and he's like, yes, I feel its power. They're like, now go make the world your own in our image. And he goes and leaves. And the three gods pull off their heads and they're aliens, like gray aliens. They're like, wow. Did you see his face? He totally bought that stuff. Just like Animal Man did. I can't believe he even believed that stuff too. But oh man. So funny. So funny. Well, let's go find our buddies. I'm sure they're crash landing around here somewhere. And they go flying off. But it doesn't change the fact that this used car salesman now has the power of a god and he, brainwashes his daughter that Jimmy Olsen has a crush on that wanted to leave the company, and goes, you will not leave the company to make small batch artisanal chocolates. You will stay here and work at the used car lot. And she's like, I will work here at the used car lot. And then he uses his power to brainwash everyone in the city except for Bizarro as they all start zombie marching towards the car lot to buy new used vehicles. Slightly used vehicles. Yes. At a low price.
Yes.
And it is now up to Bizarro, who vows he must not put a stop to this. And that's what he's gonna do. Again, it's just so far out there. And of course,
oh my gosh, I'm so sad I didn't get a chance to read this before I heard the recap.
Yeah, and Colin the Chupacabra's there on his shoulder like, yeah, let's go get him. Chick.
Does he talk or does he just make horrifying nightmare noises?
He makes horrifying
good.
nightmare sounds.
Good.
And he has a blood grudge with Jimmy Olsen, and we don't know why, but they just keep staring at each other, glaring at each other with like little lightning bolts between their eyes, like, ooh, I hate you. Well, I know why Jimmy hates him because he jumped on his face and tried to eat his brains, but we don't know why the Chupacabra hates Jimmy Olsen.
Man, I can't wait until that Colin the Chupacabra Super Pets book I have to read for my son.
Again, it's fun. It's all ages. There's nothing wrong with this book whatsoever, but it has enough stuff and little mentions or things. The artwork for his dream, the Animal Man aliens and all this goofy stuff going on that people that have been reading will find fun in it. But, I know my younger kid was looking at it and just like, yeah, he has no concept of it, but it grabbed his attention. The artwork was bright and colorful and fun. So, I mean, it's a nice line. It rides a line on it, and I think they did a good job with it. Yeah. Again, it's 6 issues. They have just enough to get in and get out and have fun with it without overstaying their welcome with this particular premise. And they can, if they want to do something again with it, another 6-issue mini down the line, they can, or if they figure out a good long-term plan for it, I don't know. I think it'd be fun. He definitely needs other characters, though, because he is not the main character in this book. This is almost like Jimmy Olsen and his pal Bizarro is really what it is. Yeah. Because it's more Jimmy Olsen out there doing stuff and Bizarro reacting to it or messing it up, and that's what's kind of making it fun. But that's it. That's all of our books, I think. Yeah. This DCU has narrowed down the amount of books we have to do. Yes. Even though we still went an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, I'm sure we did,
books.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah,
Oopsie. But as a reminder,
we need to go back to those 15-book things so we can have our half-hour episode again.
But as a reminder, you guys go out there and buy these books. If you don't buy them, they don't make them. And there's a lot of different tones and styles. Yeah. A lot of different styles.
There should be something for you in here.
Yeah, you should be able to find one out of these books that is right up your alley, right in your wheelhouse, and I think you'll find something you like. But if you do enjoy it, make sure you support it because they are taking an obvious gamble with this by divvying up all these books into differing styles and not going for a more mainstream core approach where they can try to catch as many people as they can with it. Mm-hmm. They are really kind of parsing it down to a particular sub-niche or style to really cater to people. So if you don't support it, it will die a horrible death. I mean, that's just how it is. These are not broad appeal books, not all of them at least. There are some that are still broad appeal, but I think they're rolling the dice and you have to support it if you want it out there. And a lot of people have been clamoring for that, so put your money where your mouth is, I guess. Really. That's all I can say. Next week, though, we do have another batch of books. We've got the All-Star line has come back with All-Star Section 8, number 1.
Oh, fantastic.
So funny that that's how they're doing it. Batman comes back. The all-new Batman comes back in Batman number 41. Batman Superman, that first meeting. That's the lightning bolts between their eyes as they're glaring at each other. Catwoman number 41 with that mob drama. Constantine the Hellblazer number 1 starting off. Detective Comics number 41 for the kids. Earth 2 Society number 1. Gotham Academy starring Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
Number 7 coming out there. Harley Quinn number 17. New Suicide Squad number 9. Red Hood Arsenal number 1. We're the 2 biggest jackasses in the world. Saving the day. Not really.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get laid while we do it. And pound like these brewskis. That's my Red Hood Arsenal theme song.
Yes.
Not really saving the day.
It's not just, oh yeah! Oh yeah!
And last but not least, Starfire number 1 with her new look, new style, and new location in Key West, Florida. Come on, King Shark.
Yeah.
Come on, King Shark.
We just want him to be in every book, apparently.
Yeah, we do, really. I mean, it's a sickness. It's a sickness. But if you guys do want to contact us, we do have a couple questions for next week. I just cut them out because it is a con week, and we're recording this on Wednesday. We've had like no time whatsoever because I leave tomorrow. So if you do have questions, you can reach us where, Brian?
The internet.
Yes, we are DCR Podcast everywhere. We don't really do a whole big spiel. We believe you guys know how to use the internet. Just type in DCR Podcast. You'll find us. It's pretty easy. You can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. So, Brian, do you have anything before we take off for this week?
No, not right now.
Good, because I am dying. My throat is gone.
Just had to do the Midnighter voice.
I know. I brought it on myself. So from all of us here, enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.